Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're going to slow things down a bit and really deconstruct the very building blocks of a beautiful lifelong connection. We're kind of analyzing the architecture of a romance here. We'll be using the story of Aman and Sofia to look at exactly how two completely separate, independent lives can just suddenly intertwine and become one. Seriously, think about this for a second. What happens when two strangers reach for the exact same book? It's such a compelling thought, right? Just a fleeting, fractional moment in time. A tiny interaction that could have so easily been missed by a matter of mere inches or even seconds. But it's these exact microscopic moments that can permanently alter the entire trajectory of two lives. Picture this, a cozy little bookstore on a rainy afternoon. The rain outside is naturally pushing people indoors, just seeking a bit of warmth and shelter. It creates this beautifully intimate microcosm right there within those bookstore walls. And within that quiet, insulated little space, the unbelievable actually happened. Aman and Sofia both reached for the exact same book. Right in that split second, their hands brushed, their eyes instantly met, and a smile was shared. It wasn't some grand cinematic explosion, actually. It was a quiet, immediate recognition, just a shared wavelength, instantly established over a piece of literature. Now, that initial spark, it's fantastic. But as we all know, a spark alone doesn't build a fire. You really need time to let it catch. That serendipitous catalyst right there by the bookshelf immediately ignited a 3-hour marathon of talking over warm cups of coffee. 3 whole hours. They didn't just exchange pleasantries and politely part ways. No, they poured their time into one another, and they truly engaged. This 3-hour window was absolutely crucial. It was the bridge between a totally chance encounter and a real, intentional connection. Let's move to and see how this builds, because a connection isn't just static, right? It requires momentum. And their intimacy naturally escalated. First, weekend coffee dates established this nice, predictable routine. It carved out dedicated time in the daylight just to learn about each other's worlds. And then came the late-night walks. This is where the environment shifts. The sun goes down, all the loud distractions of the day just kind of fade away, and the actual physical act of walking side by side naturally lowers our emotional defenses. And this seamlessly led right into deep conversations, beautifully marking that transition from just casual dating into genuine, vulnerable intimacy. They were moving deeper and deeper into each other's trust. And this brilliantly illustrates the complementary dynamic of their bond. These two possess the exact kind of dynamic that makes a relationship truly sustainable. Aman absolutely loved how Sofia laughed at his silly jokes. And let's be real for a second. Having a partner who genuinely laughs at your silly jokes is pretty much the ultimate undefeated relationship hack. It's a game changer, for sure. Meanwhile, Sofia found profound peace in his kindness. These two elements, they aren't identical, but they fit together perfectly, literally like puzzle pieces. He provides this wonderful lightness and joy, and she receives a steady, kind presence that acts as her total anchor. So the crucial point is how this piece functioned. We so often think of romance as purely passion and fireworks, right? But a true, enduring connection relies heavily on peace. That profound sense of calm that Sofia discovered within Aman's kindness. You see, his kindness wasn't just about being polite. It acted as a mutual emotional anchor that solidified their trust. It signaled to Sofia that she could finally drop her armor, that she was totally protected, and that she could just rest. That mutual trust, built on a steady foundation of simple, consistent kindness, is exactly what transforms a new romance into a permanent sanctuary. Fast forward to one evening under a sky full of bright stars. The noise of the world was completely gone. It was just the two of them, completely blanketed by the quiet vastness of the night sky. And in this incredibly quiet, earnest moment, the story reached its emotional climax. Aman reached out and he held her hand gently. This wasn't just a casual gesture, you guys. It was grounded, it was intentional, and it was so incredibly tender. It was the physical prologue to something deeply, deeply profound. Now, what's really interesting about this part of the story is the absolute weight of his words. He looked deep into her eyes and confessed a simple, staggering truth. He told her she was his entire world. I mean, wow, just let that sink in for a second. To look at another human being and verbalize that your entire universe now orbits around them, that is the ultimate leap of faith. It's the definitive pivot from two individuals just dating to two individuals actively merging their lives into a singular, shared reality. And how was that immense vulnerability met by Sofia? She smiled through her tears. It's such a beautiful visual, perfectly mapping the physical action of smiling through tears directly to the emotional milestone of her returning his profound love. It was a pure manifestation of her heart echoing his joy and totally grasping the sheer magnitude of the moment. She leaned in and whispered that she loved him too, meeting his profound vulnerability with her own profound truth. When we review the chronological journey of their connection, you can really see how these small increments of time built an absolutely unbreakable foundation. I mean, it started so small, one rainy afternoon in a bookstore. That led to 3 hours over coffee, which naturally expanded into weeks and months of weekend dates and late night walks. And that all culminated in one defining evening under the stars, pointing straight toward forever. It really emphasizes how perfectly these little micro commitments, sequentially stacked up, built their ultimate lifelong commitment. From that day on, under those stars, they made a promise that brings this whole explainer's visual metaphor beautifully full circle. They promised to read the beautiful book of life together, forever. It's just a stunning vow. Think about it. They met by serendipitously reaching for the exact same book on a rainy afternoon. And now, they vow to treat their shared life as a grand narrative that they will write and read together. It beautifully transforms their little bookstore meeting into the opening chapter of a lifelong shared epic. Stories like Aman and Sofia's, they aren't just confined to a screen or a fairy tale. They happen every single day. They happen in quiet moments, in coffee shops, and yes, in cozy little bookstores. So take a look at the people around you. Think about the serendipitous connections you've made and the enduring love stories in your own life. Who are you writing your beautiful book of life with? Thank you so much for exploring this with us today. Keep seeking those connections and keep reading the beautiful pages of your own story.